All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2025. This is episode 1005 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Two Thumbs, All Smiles, Dr. Gerald Auger. If you're looking to stay current on the top cyber threat news information of the day so you can deliver cybersecurity practitioner work, basically, in an effective way, stay informed, update your threat models, be current. If you're looking to break into the industry or switch jobs, you're going to be asked, how do you stay current? It is imperative that you do it. And what we do here during this show, the next hour, is do it, but we do it in a fun way alongside the Simply Cyber community, which you're a part of because you're watching this right now. We are leveling up. This is Daily Cyber Threat Brief. We're off and running. Let's go. All right, awesome stuff, guys. We got a great show for you today. We're going to go through 8 top stories of the day. I'll go beyond the headlines to deliver additional value and insight from my 20 years of experience so you can learn the lessons without having to sit in the seat yet. It's kind of like a cheat code as best we can do here within the cybersecurity community. Also, every single day of the week has a special segment. And Thursdays is this guy right here. He owns Thursday, Dan Reardon, a.k.a. the Haircut Fish. Longtime Simply Cyber community member and all-around great guy. He makes a custom meme, hot and spicy fresh, every single Thursday for us. And, you know, it's typically related to something that happened earlier in the week. And Dan delivers, as always, today. I think you'll enjoy it. I do think you'll enjoy it. Every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including this one, is worth half a CPE. 1 CPE per hour. It's an hour-long show, but we fool around. We have fun. So we say half an hour, half a CP. The thing is, there's plenty of it. If you come every day, it's 120 CPEs a year. So just say what's up in chat, grab a screenshot of you saying hi, and get the show title, which has the date and the number, uniquely identifying the episode, and there you go, file it away. And if you get audited for your CPEs, you got all the evidence. Otherwise, just document your CPEs and keep on crushing. It does qualify as an instructor-led webinar. Now, because I'm an instructor and because I have expertise in the industry, I don't research or prep for any of these shows because that's disingenuous and a whole bunch of trash. What I do is what I do, I've done my entire career, is I sit down with a big cup of coffee and I consume a bunch of threat intelligence first thing in the morning. Why? Because I want to be an effective practitioner. I want to be the CISO that everybody's like, oh my, he's dreamy. So how do I do it? I put the work in. Frankly, that's it. Point blank. So I don't research or prep. Also, additionally, the reason I don't research or prep,
ain't nobody got time for that.
For real, ain't nobody got time for that. I got work to do here. What else we got? Oh, hey, if it's your first episode, you picked a banger. Welcome to the party, pal. Drop a hashtag first timer in chat. Hashtag first timer in chat if it's your first episode. As always, I invite the hold on. Looks like we've got a wrecking ball. Whoa. You guys, by the way, Mara Levy, Phil Stafford, AdTech, Poner Joe, thank you for using the wrecking ball emote. It makes it easy for me to see. Let's see what Robert Hendrickson ATX said. Where is it? Come on. There it is. Robert says, I got a job offer that was higher than I interviewed for because of how I spoke about this show and keeping up with the latest information. Thanks so much, Jerry. Robert Hendrickson, how about thank you and congratulations, dude. That's sick.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Oh, so happy. That's the thing, guys. I got to tell you, listen, I can't promise you a job. I cannot promise you a job. It always manifests different ways. But what I can tell you is if you just do the things, your likelihood, your chance, your percentages are going to increase dramatically. Believe me. We got first timer in chat, also a squad member. That's kind of wild. I appreciate you being a squad member and it being your first episode. Callie Queen at Callie Queen IRL. Welcome to the party, pal. Also, Dietrich Gels 24/7. Welcome to the party, pal. Kenneth J loves some Jerry guy. Thank you, Kenneth J. Jerry guy is in the hizzy, baby. All right. Oh, I love it. So excited for everybody. Thank you for sharing your wins, by the way. It inspires other people in the community. It fuels my battery, if you will, to know that the work we do here goes beyond sponsors and streaming, and it has real profound impact on people's lives in a very positive way. And that, to me, is what makes this show and this community so freaking amazing. I love it. Now, let's pay some bills. Before we get into it, I do want to say shout out and thank you to the stream sponsors, those who enabled me to bring the show to you on the regular, starting with Anti-Siphon Training. Anti-Siphon Training disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by offering high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone. I want to call your attention to this story this opportunity right here. A week, 6 days from now, next Wednesday, November 19th, from noon to 1 p.m. Look at your calendar really quickly. Pop it open. The YouTube app will minimize up in the corner of your phone, or open a new tab. Look at your calendar. November 19th, 12 to 1 Eastern time. Are you available? Well, if you are, you could register for free and check out the 2025 Data Deep Dive with Jordan Drysdale and Kent Ickler. So what's this going to do for you guys? This right here, free session, how breaches happen, what's the impact? This right here, I'm telling you right now. Now, Robert Hendrickson just got a job, so, he could still get value. But I'm telling you right now, a deep dive of the top breaches of 2025, you go to a job interview just dropping bombs like, oh, yeah, you know how Change Healthcare happened and how that impacted everybody. Oh, what really is interesting is how that Salesforce breach happened and the impact of it. People across the interview table from you are going to be like, oh, my God. This lady is absolutely dialed in. It's not cheating. You're doing the work. Let them help you. 2025 Data Deep Dive. I'll drop a link in chat right now. I say it all the time, guys. Register for it. And if you can't make it, then don't go. But if you can, you'll be very happy that you registered for it. Speaking about opportunities, want an opportunity to bone up on your corporate IT infrastructure best practices? Flare Academy is offering a free 2-hour deep dive workshop into Active Directory and Entra ID, which me and John Hammond continue to call Azure AD or AAD. We're basically old. Sound off in chat if you still call it AAD or Azure Active Directory. I feel like I call it Azure AD. That's kind of like my go-to. But anyways, if you don't understand, hold on. Did Will Reed get a job too? Will Reed, it's been a minute, man. Will Reed in chat, blue badge. Love myself some Will Reed. I got a job as an InfoSec risk analyst with Trident Solutions.
I came in like a wrecking
Oh my God. Holy crap, dude. I don't know what stories are going to come up. I don't know what words are going to come out of my mouth. And I certainly have no idea who is getting a job and coming to share it with the community, but I welcome it every single day. All right. Now, hold on. I think Cheddar Bob's going strong into the paint on Entra ID. Sean Sailors calls it AAD. Jonathan Booley, never Entra. And Cheddar Bob, it says no, spoken Entra ID. I don't know what that means. If he says he won't speak those words, I don't know. But guys, I got to tell you, this day is banging, and we're 6 minutes into the episode, 7 minutes into the episode, and we're crushing it. Anyways, listen really quickly. If you'd like to learn about AD, Entra ID, understand the differences, hybrid environments, guys, this is not necessarily cybersecurity related, but a step underneath that of IT, corporate IT, cloud and on-prem hybrid infrastructure, which is super common, Microsoft technologies, which is super common. The chances, listen, if you were to fall down into a job interview, the probability that the job interview you're falling into likely has Azure AD, on-prem technologies is high. Microsoft is very good at getting market penetration, and these technologies are things that you would want to know about so you can properly secure them. Anyways, go to simplycyber.com simplycyber.io. It's a website, simplycyber.io/flare, and it will redirect you to this landing page. Again, I recommend you sign up for it, register, get it on the calendar. And then if something comes up, guys, listen, life happens. I get it. You know, your kid gets sick. You got to go to school. A job interview pops up and you're absolutely going to prioritize that. Whatever it is, I get it. But you know what? When it's on the calendar, it's more likely to happen. If you don't put it on the calendar, I guarantee you it won't happen. Let's hear from Threat Locker really quick. And then we're going to melt everyone's face with the top cyber news stories of the day because it's hot. Fancy! Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, Threat Locker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with Threat Locker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust Threat Locker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. Threat Locker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Hero support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how Threat Locker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber. All right, everybody. Producer, please bring in the news cards. There we go. Clap on. There we are. I didn't change the date once. Producer, fix the date, please. Done. All right. Do me a favor, everybody. Sean Sailors, Roswell, UK, Devin Grady, Cheddar Bob, Phil Stafford, and the San Francisco Sound Machine. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over all of us in an awesome wave. I'll see you at the mid-roll. Haircut Fish, meme of the week.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, November 13th, 2025. I'm Sarah Lane. Mobile blackout for Russian travelers. Russia started imposing 24-hour mobile internet blackouts for citizens returning from abroad as a security measure to stop Ukrainian drones from using domestic SIM cards for navigation. Travelers can regain access by completing a CAPTCHA or verifying their identity. The policy has caused unintentional outages in border regions and follows similar restrictions for foreign SIM users last month. Russia is also expanding its Domestic Intelligence Service, FSB, authority to order network shutdowns under what it calls emerging threats. Windows.
All right, so this is crazy. And listen, war is not cool, and like real people's lives are being destroyed, and people are, unaliving or whatever. So I'm not making light of this. What I will say is, and many of you know this about me, like I love cybersecurity. Okay, like I love everything about it. I love talking about it. I love working it. I made I made a podcast about flipping out about it every day. So I'm fascinated by modern global war and the capabilities that cyber is playing in it. I was firmly in the camp, go back to 2022, like right before Russia invades Ukraine, right? And kicks off this kind of first global war, post cyber, post, modern tech. And I would have been the guy who told you, hey, every single ounce of my body says that the next global conflict will be us in cyberspace, right? Digital Pearl Harbor. It'll be, like all these countries are taking over telecoms, ISPs, setting up forward operating bases effectively inside of infrastructure behind the wire. Like there's no reason that it shouldn't be. There's no risk to soldiers, right? But now that I'm looking at it from a real perspective, all cyber is a capability that complements the more traditional military, I guess, operations. And the thing is, I don't know, I'm not an expert on war. I'm not a war history person. I'm not, military history, but I wonder if it's because at least in this conflict, as well as in, Israel, Gaza area, it's about taking land, right? You can't take land. You can't commandeer Crimea. You can't take Gaza if you're not physically there. So your cyber doesn't work here in that capability. All right. So having said all that, this is another development in using cyber and cyber capabilities in order to disrupt your adversary's capability. So essentially what's happening here is drones are so hot right now.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
Thank you, Kinetic Warfare. So Luke Canfield is our resident drone expert. So if you need anything drone related, at Luke Canfield's where you want to go for that. But Ukraine is using drones very effectively to act like essentially mini Terminators. It's used for reconnaissance. I would argue, again, not an expert, so tinfoil hat me on this one. I would argue that drones are going to replace scout snipers. Because, you know what I mean? Like, not fully replace them, because sometimes you need one fully embedded for like a long period of time. But for the most part, very effective to go do recon. They can do aerial recon. They can detonate and cause, they can take out targets, I guess, to put it, politely. So they're very effective. Now, so Russia does a denial of service attack. And it's a bit of a crude attack technique. They basically black out an entire area, blot out the sun, like it was Persia attacking the gates of Thermopylae, just blot it out. And the drones no longer have communication capability, and they're rendered ineffective. Now, the problem with this is the reason it's so crude. The reason it's so crude is that they're blotting out the sun. They're taking down mobile internet for like entire groups of people. Now, the idea here is the way they're managing that risk is that it's only SIMs coming from out of country. So if you're a Russian citizen with Russian-based SIM for a Russian telecommunications company, then you're fine, right? But it's just, I don't know. It sucks. It sucks, right? Like, say you're like super pro Russia, right? And you happen to live in Ukraine and you're begging for Russia to reclaim your land or whatever. Your phone's still going to get blotted out. It doesn't matter what your politics are, what you care about. So this is a denial of service attack, effectively. Okay. And it's a capability that you can turn on and off, just like any denial of service attack. So if Russia feels that the heat's getting turned on, like it's Miami 1984, you know what I mean? They can turn on this basically Stingray type capability to block mobile access to these devices. What I would like to say is I would suspect that, this is a cat and mouse game, and there'll be some way. The fact that, Russian ISPs, Russian-based SIMs aren't going to get part of this blackout. If Ukraine can figure a way to like either, like, what's it called? Spoof the ISP or spoof the SIM card to make it look Russian so it doesn't apply to this denial of service attack. If they can just get Russian SIMs, if they can have redundant mobile systems on the drone itself so it can fail over to an actual working mobile one, if they can put Starlink on it somehow, I don't know. But like, I really believe that this is just a obstacle, not a deal breaker. Because the drones are so effective for Ukraine and Russia, by the way. I'm pretty sure Russia's using drones as well. So modern warfare, not to be confused with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, is definitely going to be using some drones up in here. All right. And thank you guys. I want to say really quickly, I know that this is kind of a polarizing topic. I went into a little bit of war stuff, and I appreciate everyone offering their opinions in chat, but also doing it in a respectful way. That's one thing that people, guys, when we have visitors to the community, people who are checking us out or just, visiting or whatever, they always tell me how polite, how engaged, how awesome, how kind, and how smart our community is. So shout out to all of you guys. Love it, love it, love it. Let's keep going.
11 supports third-party passkey apps.
Yeah, passkey.
Microsoft's November Windows 11
Bruising
update
hacks, let's
adds
go.
native support for third-party passkey managers, starting with 1Password and Bitwarden, which is currently in beta. The update introduces a new passkey API developed with these companies to expand passwordless authentication options. Users can now store and manage passkeys through Windows Hello or supported apps, protected by Azure's hardware security modules. Microsoft also integrated its own password manager from Edge directly into Windows.
All right, so check it out. This is great. Microsoft, if you haven't been paying attention, Microsoft operating system and Azure, but Microsoft operating system, they have been, Windows operating system. Microsoft has been marching towards passwordless authentication for years. Look at Windows Hello. You can authenticate to your machine using your face, clicking on like a puzzle, using a password, using a passkey, using a YubiKey. Like there's like literally a buffet of options that you can configure your box for. And the idea is that we're getting away from passwords. Like shout out to Microsoft for not just understanding and agreeing that passwords suck, but architecting and integrating this passwordless design into their core operating system, which is deployed everywhere in the world. And now they're getting onto passkeys. I love passkeys. Okay, Ryan, Bruce and Hacks and I made a video on Simply Cyber called like what are passkeys, or passkeys versus passwords. So if you want to know more about passkeys, go watch that video. But the TLDR is, it's basically like a local to the device credential that is tied to you authenticating on that box. So it's you, it's that box, and it's that system. So when someone steals a passkey, they would have to come to your house or, get your machine or whatever to be able to kind of effectively use it. It's much more secure. When there's a data breach, guess what? Your passkeys aren't in there. Your password that says, go Spurs, 2025 or Clemson 17 or winter 2026, like that, those passwords suck, right? And let's be real. My Aunt Dorothea reuses passwords. I'll be the first one to admit it. So let's just, let's move on, right? I'm trying to normalize passphrases, okay? But passkey, I'll take passkey all day. So Windows 11 is going to support it. LastPass, I think they said, or 1Password. I think it's 1Password and Bitwarden. Hold on one second. Yeah, 1Password and Bitwarden are going to be the first third-party passkey managers to get integrated. Microsoft operating system native passkey support's been there for a minute. Oh my God, Elliot Matthijs, too soon, Elliot. And I use Bitwarden. I've been very happy with Bitwarden. How can you use this? Number one, if you can get your loved ones on passkeys, but at an enterprise level, I mean, if you're using Bitwarden as an enterprise solution for password management, you'll be able to integrate this into your endpoint management and I would assume servers, although like the thing with servers that I wouldn't use passkeys for unless you I guess because every administrator would have to have a separate passkey, which is not a big deal, but this is more, in my opinion, this is more for like endpoint and then accessing applications as an end user. So anyways, all right, we got some love for Bitwarden in chat. I was on LastPass for a number of years and made the switch to Bitwarden before they got hacked. And not that like I'm trying to take a victory lap here. It's just, I don't know. I liked Bitwarden and I still like Bitwarden. If Bitwarden's listening, sponsorships for 2026 are open.
Synology patches vStation RCE flaw. Synology patched a critical remote execution flaw in its vStation devices, first demonstrated at Pwn2Own Ireland 2025. The bug stemmed from improper buffer size checks that let attackers run arbitrary code remotely.
Yeah.
Users should update to vStation OS version 1.3.2-65648 or later. The competition awarded a total of $1,024,750 for 73 zero days, with the summoning team winning Master of Pwn. Taiwanese firm QNAP also patched several 0 days revealed at the event.
All right. So, wow. Lot of flexing going on here. Number one, Synology. I like Synology. I think Synology is a great product. Essentially, what Synology is known for, as far as I am aware, is personal clouds, private clouds. So if you have a lot of things you want to store, pictures, whatever, yes, you can buy an external hard drive and dump it all there. But if you buy like a Synology device, you get more kind of enterprise grade features. So, for example, I have a Synology private cloud for my house and my business. And I have multiple drives in there, RAID configured. That way, if I have a hard drive failure, I can pull it. It is secured, so it's not in the cloud. So like a data breach doesn't result in my data getting dumped. I can have different, backup set. I have it back up to an external. I can have different permissions and stuff like that. So it is a nice feature. Now, this B Station, I guess, this sounds like it's an application that allows you to take an external hard drive and turn it into a cloud server. So a nice little feature there. I would assume that most businesses are not running B Station unless you're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents and you're a small business and you've set this, you're an IT or an MSP and you've set this up for a small business in order to get access to a file server without having to pay file server prices, I suppose. Remote code execution is no joke. You don't want that. Usually these servers are going to be accessible through a VPN or some type of like remote management solution, typically not internet facing. So remote code execution, yes, it's remote, but you have to be able to access the machine, right? You have to hit the IP address. If this isn't an internal network, you can't hit it from like, Hong Kong or something, or the moon. Like you have to be able to see it, like quote unquote, see it on the network. So don't sweat that. The final thing I'll say about this is, this is a buffer overflow. So for all those who think that buffer overflows are an antiquated attack that you would hear about in, history books or whatever, they didn't, like, according to this story, right? Again, I don't research or prep for this. It had to do with not managing the buffer, right? So when you load a process into memory, it allocates like basically, I'm sorry, when you run something right on your box, it has to be stored in memory, in RAM. That's why RAM is important. That's why the more RAM, the more crap you can have running, because you need to allocate RAM for the processes to have access to resources to be able to get put on the CPU and process the instructions, okay? So when you allocate RAM in memory, if you don't manage the buffer, a threat actor can technically, if they can control it, overwrite the buffer and put their own commands right inside that memory. And if they do it well and elegantly, it doesn't cause a segmentation fault. It just causes the instruction pointer to go right to the next command, which the threat actor has overwritten, and then they can take control flow. And that's when you get remote code execution, okay? Or not remote code. That's when you get arbitrary code execution. If you hear the term arbitrary code execution, that means the threat actor has written their own command into memory and they've taken control of the instruction pointer and they're off to the races. Shout out to Pwn to Own, Ireland, giving out $1 million in prizes. Bro, that's 6 to midnight right there. Straight cash, homie.
Amazon pins Cisco Citrix attacks to APT Group. Amazon's threat intelligence team reported that an advanced persistent threat group exploited zero-day vulnerabilities in Cisco Identity Services Engine and Citrix NetScaler before the vendors disclosed and patched them over the summer. The attackers used custom malware and backdoors tailored to Cisco ISE, likely for long-term espionage. Amazon traced exploitation back to May and alerted Cisco, while Citrix Bleed 2 was added to CISA's known exploited vulnerabilities catalog in July.
Okay, so this is cool. This is literally the first time that I have heard of Amazon's threat intelligence group. Hold on, the thing is, I gotta manage this thing above my head, which is why I only do it for the first half of the show. Free Guinness for everybody? Kenneth J, you're buying? What are we doing here? So I've never heard of Amazon's threat intelligence group, okay? Now, if I thought about it for 1 second, allow me to think about it for 1 second. It makes total sense. Microsoft has a threat intel group. Google has a threat intel group. Amazon should have one too. Amazon runs AWS, a massive cloud infrastructure that tons and tons of businesses run their business on top of. They definitely have a metric ton of telemetry in their environment. They see attacks all the time. They see compromises all the time. They have tons and tons of visibility. So it makes complete sense that they would have a threat intelligence group. So good on them. Secondly, nailed it when they're releasing intel on a threat intel on an advanced persistent threat actor targeting Cisco and Citrix. That's no joke, man. Cisco Tech and Citrix Tech are deployed in Fortune 1000 companies, most of them. All right. Citrix is very, very popular tech. Now, it's a Citrix NetScaler specifically, not the Citrix Gateway, but still, Citrix is like legit corporate. And then the Cisco Identity Service Engine. Now, Cisco's got a huge product portfolio, obviously, but I told you this yesterday on stream. So you first timers, like Callie Queen, you may not have heard this yesterday, but I've said this before. Any technology like corporate IT asset, or excuse me, corporate IT infrastructure asset that handles anything security related. So think like patch management, identity management, access control, firewalls, identity, like anything like that. That should be an elevated, prioritized asset that you keep an eye on, like extra detections, extra honey tokens and stuff. Because if a threat actor gets control of security tech, then it's really, really bad, right? They can disable the security tech. They can hide inside of it. They can weaponize it against you. Now, Amazon has a Mad Pot honeypot service, which I've never heard of before, but I like it a lot. And we can talk about honeypots for a second here. But they're seeing active exploitation of the Citrix and Cisco stuff. So for practitioners, what I want to say is, what's the TLDR, right? We need to patch it, I would assume, right? Hey, Matt Capco, thank you. Dude, Amazon's observed more than 11 million attack attempts since July. That's no joke, man. What the heck is this, dude? It's almost it's November 13th, and Amazon said that they've seen attacks since back in May. So unfortunately, I don't know why Amazon waited months. I'm hoping this story is more about them identifying the threat actor, not notifying people about the problem here. So, I mean, typically you gotta patch it, right? I mean, you gotta patch it. Hold on, I'm looking at the 2 CVEs in the National Vulnerability Database really quickly. Bro, this is annoying to me. Like, I have to do this live on stream, and I don't research or prep for the show. But like, to me, I want to know, is there patches for this? Okay. This blog post is from November 12th, so just a couple days ago. There's a nice write-up here. Here's my thing. When it comes to things like this, as a practitioner, when it comes to things like this, immediately Cisco Citrix, I'm like, okay, you have my attention. I'm interested in understanding, like, what's the cool technique? How did they do it? And I'm interested in how, like, what detections do I need to make sure that it doesn't happen? But my immediate first act of interest is, what is the mitigation? Is there a patch? Is there a workaround? Is this something that I need to smash the button and have the red siren light going off to get everyone involved? Or is this something, what's the deal? Here we go. Recommendations for security. Here we go. Thank you, Amazon. For security teams, this serves as a reminder that critical infrastructure like identity management and remote access gateways remain prime targets for threat actors. Yes, this is literally what I just said, okay? What is the friggin' fix, dude? All right, they've got two links here, one to Citrix and one to Cisco. What customers should do? Install the relevant updated versions ASAP. Okay, so number one, patch it. You gotta patch it. What's Cisco? What say you, Cisco? Oh, this is not good. Bookmark this one. Now check this out. This problem has been published since June and was updated in July. You should not be at risk of this, okay? You should not be at risk of this. Now, Cisco does provide both fixed software, the software updates, as well as workarounds if you're not able to patch it immediately. Dude, friend to friend here, if you find that your environment is still vulnerable to this, you should literally, I mean this with all love and respect. If your environment's still vulnerable to this without some very compelling reason, you should take a tortilla shell and slap whoever's in charge of your networking or your identity and access management team or your IT infrastructure. Take a tortilla, because it's funny and it doesn't hurt as much, and slap them with a tortilla. This is ridiculous. This is like 4 or 5 months old. And this is a gross, actively exploited, critical vulnerability, unauthorized remote code execution in an identity service engine. Don't mess with this one. All right. You got to patch it.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, Vanta. What is your 2 a.m. security worry? Is it, do I have the right controls in place? Or are my vendors secure? Or the scary one, how do I get out from under these old tools and manual processes? Enter Vanta. Vanta automates manual work, so you can stop sweating over spreadsheets.
Vanta is a
chasing
CISO
audit
series
evidence,
sponsor,
and
not a
filling out
Simply
endless
Cyber sponsor.
questionnaires. Vanta's trust management platform continuously monitors your systems, centralizes your data, and simplifies your security at scale. It also fits right into your workflows, using AI to streamline evidence collection, flag risks, and keep your program audit ready all the time. With Vanta, you get everything you need to move faster, scale confidently, and get back to sleep. Get started at vanta.com/headlines.
All right. Let's do this. I think I found a good one. Warm chocolate. All right. I feel like Code Brew nailed it. Vanta takes the air out of the room. All right, let's bring Chad up. Chad, please join me on stage. Thank you. Guys, shout out to all of you. Doom Kraken, Code Brew, Brews and Hacks, Cheddar Bob, Dream Logic, Elliot Mattice, Phil Stafford, the San Francisco Connection, Alpha Sierra is up in here. Shout out to the stream sponsors, Anti-Siphon, Flare, Threat Locker, and Barricade Cyber Solutions. Guys, Barricade Cyber Solutions has been running this Fortify 365 webinar series for a couple months now. Every other week, Eric Taylor brings you a 1-hour practical skill-packed webinar that you can come and leave with knowledge, practical, implementable skills. And November 19th, at 1 p.m. Eastern time, they're back at it with session 7. Dude, everybody that's running M365, every user in your environment gets a OneDrive. They can put all sorts of data in there, their own data, sensitive data, screenshots of their one-time password backups, all these things. So how do you protect? Well, come listen to Barricade Cyber talk to you about how to configure new and guest accounts, how to set up retention policies for OneDrive, how to disable access automatically and seamlessly using group policy when people leave. All sorts of value. Go to webinars.barricadecyber.com, webinars.barricadecyber.com to register and learn today. All right, dudes, every single day of the week has a special segment, and Thursdays is What's Your Meme Thursday. Dan Reardon, my friend, he's in chat right now, the Haircut Fish. Not only is he a good time, but he is creative. He does crocheting. He does magic. the Gathering. He does 3D printing. He's amazing. And he also makes custom memes. So this week we got one for you, hot and fresh, coming for you. Now, really quick as a preface, we had Simply CyberCon on November 3rd. It was amazing. I'm already geeked up and planning Simply Cyber 2020 Con 2026. We will have a lot more. I will delegate a lot more, which is part of the reason why I'm feeling so frisky. I haven't told everybody about the format, but it's going to be banger. So let me just explain so this meme will make sense, okay? We're going to be doing talks. We're going to be doing workshops. There's going to be all sorts of activities. There's going to be photo booths, karaoke, potentially a tattoo artist, potentially Magic the Gathering tournament, potentially open mic night, potentially bar crawl, sponsor Stampede. All these things, guys, like, we haven't figured it all out yet, but it's going to be good. So Dan Reardon dropping a meme, making himself very obvious, and I love it, Dan. Simply CyberCon 26 will have cyber, Magic the Gathering 20, food truck, CTS, tattoo artist. In fact, forget about the cyber. That's how crazy we're going to be. I love it. I love it. So thank you, Dan. Definitely nailing it. I want it to be an experience. It's going to be an experience. Believe that. I'm telling you right now. We got a lot of feedback. We've been leveling it up year after year, and I'm super excited. All right. Thanks, Dan. All right, let's continue on. I do have to go teach today. Wah, wah, wah.
New Danabot Windows version emerges. Danabot has resurfaced with a new Windows variant 6 months after being disrupted by Operation Endgame back in May, targeting users in Australia, North America, and Europe.
Oh, speaking of beer, another event that's just occurred to me. I think we might do a beer exchange. Code Brew kind of like organically did this thing. Brews and Hacks gave me beer. Luke Canfield gave me beer. Steve Young gave me beer. I didn't really bring beer to exchange, and I felt terrible about that. But I will tell you, there's been some hints about a beer exchange kind of experience as well. The sky's the limit, guys. I will deliver cybersecurity education and value to you at the conference, but it's going to be so much more.
The modular banking Trojan, offered as malware as a service, lets operators add new functionalities with plugins. Operation Endgame had previously neutralized multiple malware strains and led to 20 international arrest warrants. Zscaler Threat Labs identified that campaigns' command and control servers and wallet addresses and shared associated indicators of compromise.
Okay, so I forgot about Danabot. Dude, this art is sick though, right? Jesus. The Code Red soda on the ground by him. Okay, listen, Operation Endgame was an ridiculously amazing coordinated effort to just disrupt cyber threat activity, and Danabot was part of that takedown. I say this all the time, guys. If you don't take the head of the snake, if you don't arrest the human being, you can't make them forget their skills. You can't confiscate their software. They have duplicates and backups of it. It just takes a little while for them to re-spin up their infrastructure. And honestly, guys, they have so much money from all their activities that they can, it doesn't destroy them, right? If a business, hold on. Dan Reardon is delivering a just-in-time meme of the week, which I'll give you right after this story. So this is a perfect example where law enforcement can do everything right.
Regulators, mount up.
And threat actors can and will come back. Okay? It's unfortunate. We saw this with Emotet a couple years ago as well. Emotet came back with a vengeance. All I would say is, let law enforcement continue to do their thing. As far as defense goes, all the things, educate your end users. I do not know how initial infection happens with this one, but once you're infected, post-exploitation C2s are these IP addresses here, 62.62.26. You can see him on stream. Port 443 is encrypted web traffic, which every firewall in the planet is going to allow to pass through the firewall. Threat actors are aware of this. If you want like a little, tease, go look for these IP addresses in your SIM. Just see if there's some communication going out. You don't want to mess with this. These are professional criminals, guys. This is cybercrime. As a business, it's very legit. And yeah, you don't want to mess with it. Oh, it's written in Delphi. Wow. Holy crap, dude. Drink. Even I didn't have Delphi on my bingo card. Delphi is an old programming language from yesteryear. And it's a banking Trojan, of course. So they're trying to get your money. They're up in here trying to get your money.
Straight cash, homie.
All right. So Dan Reardon, meme of the week. You're getting a double shot. This is why you got to show up every day because you might miss this. Double shot on brand for that Cisco story. The Cisco CVE doesn't look bad. You got to patch it. You got to patch it. All right. Thanks, Dan.
UK unveils new cybersecurity bill. The British government introduced its long-delayed Cybersecurity and Resilience Bill, which would impose strict standards and large fines on critical infrastructure and digital service providers that fail to protect against cyber attacks. The law expands the 2018 NIS regulations to include sectors like healthcare, energy, and IT service providers, requiring rapid incident reporting and regulator oversight.
Yeah.
Cyber
Guys, I got to tell you, like, whatever you guys are drinking, whatever's in the water over there in the UK, get after it. You know, the United Kingdom, Roswell, UK is our local representative, and we have a couple UK people in chat in the community. So I'm not saying that you're also not part of it. It's just, guys, they stood up like a cyber capability, like a NSA ish. I think it's called like GCHQ or something like that. They've been, doing all sorts of, kind of investments in cybersecurity. And at this strategy level, federal government, now they're passing a legislation called the Cybersecurity and Resilience Bill. Just really quick, I'm going to take a lap for myself right here. Which one do I want to play? Hold on. Okay, Ric Flair, woo. Guys, I've been on a quest. Listen, I spent 5 years trying to make GRC cool, and I think mission accomplished. Okay, GRC Mafia is so hot right now.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
I'm low-key on a mission to make cybersecurity called cyber resilience. I've been working on that, and I've been working on making passphrases normal. Although I think passkeys might usurp passphrases, which I don't care. I like both of them. But cyber resiliency, that's what we're doing, guys. We're not trying to secure. We're trying to ensure resiliency in the face of adversity. Giddy up on that. So way to go, UK. Pip, pip, and cheerio and all that. So, bunch of critical infrastructure things. Essential services will have improved cybersecurity services and probably get federal support, federal funding, federal information sharing, etc. If I may take a liberty here, Obama executive order. I think it's 16363. Or 13636. Nerd. By the way, I love when I remember very, very specific things like that. Yeah. Executive Order 13636 from your, at the time, current President Obama. This was in 2013. He released an executive order basically called Improving Critical Infrastructure Cybersecurity. And essentially what he said was, listen, y'all, we're getting ramrodded by threat actors. We have to prioritize critical infrastructure. We have to do cybersecurity information sharing with that. We have to do policy coordination. We have to identify what critical infrastructure is. We have to ensure that we're protecting civil liberties. And that launched 1,000 boats. CISA kind of came out of that. Right? Health and Homeland Security. Like, this is where it all came from. It was Obama's executive order. And I'm not saying like Obama's, any great shakes one way or the other. It's just he was the president at the time, right? I'm sure Obama didn't pen this executive order. He's like, yeah, you know what? Being a politician's pretty cool, but actually, I guess I can maybe do an Obama impression. Like, doing president politician stuff's pretty good, but I think I might get into this cybersecurity thing, man. So, anyways, this is, in my opinion, where is it? The UK's version of that executive order. Now, 12 years later, but still, there's a lot of vibes up in here for me on this is kind of following that same idea. And honestly, guys, I really think that piece of executive order, that legislation led to many, many valuable developments for the cybersecurity community and for the overall, resiliency of the United States as a, as a federal entity to be able to deliver services and critical infrastructure as we continue to get more and more, digital and more integrated with, technology and cloud and stuff like that. So way to go, UK. I don't know what they do there. They drink, pints, right? So like, hat tip to you.
Insurance payouts soar in UK. We're going to stay in the UK for this next story, where cyber insurance payouts jumped 230% in 2024 to 197 million pounds, up 138 million pounds from 2023, while policy numbers rose 17%, according to the Association of British Insurers, or ABI. Malware and ransomware accounted for 51% of claims. That is up from 32%. The ABI noted that policies now provide risk prevention support alongside financial coverage. Insurers increasingly require baseline cybersecurity measures, and the proposed government ban on ransom payments could tighten these requirements even more.
All right. Hey, we actually, for the sake of time and just my own sanity, we covered this story yesterday. So occasionally CISO series steps on themselves by covering the same story 2 days in a row because they have different reporters and, they're no Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat. But anyways, like TLDR, UK is getting more and more serious. Cyber insurance, it's a whole thing. Like I will tell you, cyber insurance is a GRC person's GRC level of interest. Not a lot of people talking about cyber insurance. I tried. It was a hill I was not going to die on. I made a video on the channel. It's like one of my least performing videos of all time, talking about cyber insurance and what you need to know about it. Just know the TLDR for practitioners in here, you absolutely should have cyber insurance for your organization. And it gets harder and harder to get it because there's more, when an insurance companies pay 230% more out in payouts year over year. Do you know how they make up for that? Insurance companies are not nonprofits. Insurance companies are not going to go out of business. They're going to increase the premiums, especially if your information security program sucks. So what you have to do is have a good information security program, and then they'll give you lower premiums. Yay! So use insurance to help build your InfoSec program. True story. Let me share this with you really quickly. True story. The reason they hired me to lead cyber at this company is because their information security program sucked and they got hit with a bunch of business email compromises and some other stuff. So they said, we need to get someone in here to lead our information security program and build it. So they hired me, which was awesome. Great opportunity. But MFA was like the first thing I did. But one of the early things I did was get cyber insurance. Okay. We solicited 27 different cyber insurance companies for quotes. Okay. I'm not making this up. 24 of them replied basically oh, that's hilarious. No, we're not. We're not going to give you an insurance policy. Are you kidding me? No. So that was a bit of a shocker. Begging people to take our money, and they're like, absolutely not. You are radioactive. Like we're not going to split an Uber with you. All right. And the other three companies, they wanted to ride dirty. We got an insurance policy, but I was able to get funding for an MDR solution because of it. All right.
Google files lawsuit against lighthouse scammers. Google filed a lawsuit against 25 unnamed individuals in China behind the Lighthouse Phishing as a Service kit, which has reportedly victimized over 1 million people with smishing campaigns posing as EasyPass or USPS notifications. The suit alleges violations of the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, the Lanham Act, and the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, and seeks damages and a court order to block Lighthouse-linked domains. Google also endorsed 3 U.S. bills targeting fraud and scam operations to strengthen long-term protections.
Nice. I mean, like, who hasn't gotten... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get rid of this. Who hasn't gotten a text message saying that they owe tolls in, like, you know, Kansas, or you have a package at UPS or FedEx, right? Obviously, I didn't know it was China-based threat actors. I mean, not that it really matters. It's not like I get the text message for a toll and I'm like, well, you know, if this was Belarusian-based threat actors, I'd pay the toll, but it's Chinese, so I'm good. No, it's like a threat's a threat, okay? So Lighthouse is the phishing as a service kit. Foreign cyber criminals who've engaged in yeah, I mean, dude, they're making tons of money off this. Like, my Aunt Dorothea would definitely fall for like an outstanding toll text message or something. Especially, by the way, educate your end users. Like, this is great that Google's getting after these Chinese-based threat actors, but educate your end users. This is an absolute must do. Okay. Like, normally I give you guys options. Like, I want to defer to you. I want to provide guidance, but not prescriptive and hard-nosed guidance. This is one of those times I'm going to take that golf club out of the bag and use it. You must educate your end users and family about these type of messages now, because Black Friday's around the corner, holidays are around the corner. People are going to be getting all sorts of packages from Amazon and, you know, Kohl's or whatever, Target, whatever. Like, you're going to be getting all sorts of packages, and these messages are going to come in. And if you're expecting a package, you're more likely to fall for it, right? You've got assumed that you like trust, basically. Please educate. Like, I know we know this, but my Aunt Donna, like, my Aunt Donna is going to be like, oh, I guess the kids got their you know, their Hess truck, like, or the kids didn't get their Hess truck. Let me check into this. All right. I don't want anyone's family members, loved ones to get duped. In fact, you know what? It might make for some good Thanksgiving conversations. Hey, you know, thank you everybody for coming to Thanksgiving dinner. Really quick, I've got a 3-slide PowerPoint. Can Cousin Eddie, can you roll the monitor up over here? Yeah. And no one's getting up from the table because they want that sweet, sweet turkey and gravy. All right. So anyways, way to go, Google. I do find it funny. Not funny. I find it interesting, okay, that the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York is the one who filed the lawsuit, but Google is the one filing it in that district court. So I find it interesting in 2025 that technocrats, right? I mean, like, basically Google is the one bringing the lawsuit, not the United States federal government. Google is bringing a lawsuit against China. You know what I mean? These Fortune 5 companies are so powerful. Elon has his own space agency. Elon has his own internet service provider, right? Amazon has a space agency, effectively. It's crazy. All right, guys, we did it. We did the thing. All right. Holla. Really quickly, it is Wednesday. It's Thursday. Jesus. We got a couple things to share. Number one, at 4:30 p.m. today. Oh, my God. I got to stop doing this thing. You guys don't know her. She's going to be new to the community. This is Tori Fisher. She used to work with Tyler Ramsby. Listen, everybody thinks pen testing is all about the tech and 0 days and Kali Linux and Go Fish and all these things. Guys, the business of pen testing does require client management, reporting, effective communication, deliverables, selling the work, all these things. Tori Fisher, a master of that. And what we're going to be talking about today at 4:30 is how to properly manage a pen test. If you even for a hot second have sniffed thinking about being a pen tester and you wanted to absolutely dazzle people in the interview, yes, I can pop a box. Yes, I can reverse shell it. Ooh, awesome, great. Everybody can do that wants to be a pen tester. Can you properly manage a pen test? You're going to be able to when we're done with you today. So come on out, support the show. Simply Cyber Firesides, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time today on Simply Cyber. Also, I think we have a show today. Yeah. So Cybersecurity Mentors podcast also delivering value. You guys want to get inside Mandiant? The Google bought them for like $20 billion. They are, when real bad happens to real big companies, Mandiant is who they call for incident response. Come on down at 9:30 a.m. today, right after Jawjacking, to hear about the global cyber warfare from inside Mandiant. You don't want to miss this opportunity. As always, we got Jawjacking. I got to go teach at the Citadel, but my man Daniel Lowry is going to be here and delivering value, so stay tuned for him. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Until next time, stay secure. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Jawjacking. I will be your host, Daniel Lowry, today. I'm Daniel Lowry most days anyway. I'm having some fun. It's a little cool out today, and my allergies are kicking in, and I'm really, really tired of them. But I'm glad to be here, and we're going to have a good time talking that cyber. You know how we do. So if you got the questions, that's what I'm here to try to do, is help you get some answers. Or if we just got something really cool to talk about, you know what to do. Slap that into the chat. Speaking of chat, I like to show the chat on the screen. There you good folks are. Come on. There's the chat. It showed up finally. Restream. Oh, man, restream. Anyway, so there you go. That's what we're doing today. Good morning, everyone. I saw some great people in here already. I think I spotted a wild Kathy Chambers in the chat room as well. It's good to always see my girl, Kathy Chambers, hanging out with us this morning. I see Carrie Chase and Anita Sailors. Who else is in here? Oh my goodness, tons of people. That voice, you just can't miss it, can you, Legrat? It's weird. My voice actually will Darth Lowry. Your lack of faith disturbs me. Oh man, we're having fun. Yeah, don't forget to put a Q in front of your questions so I can easily catch those questions. Thank you, Nightbot, for putting that out there. And that's what we do. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk the cyber things, try to get everybody going, get the juices flowing, as it were, the cyber juice that you're based on your cyber turkey for Thanksgiving. It's gonna be delicious, right? Get it off the fingers. It's gonna be great. All right, so let me go check what's the chat, because I see Kimberly Can Fix It is here, Dream Logic Inc., Misty Eyed. Jared Rodriguez, good to see you today. Jared, you had a great question last night on After Dark for Mike Holcomb. We talked with Mike Holcomb last night on Cybercast After Dark. A lot about OT and ICS and how to get skills and the certifications and what the problem is as far as cybersecurity goes with that. It was a really interesting conversation. So if you missed last night, you should go check that out. And you're interested in OT, even if you're not interested in OT or ICS stuff, I would still check it out, because I would venture a guess that you might become interested in OT and ICS at that point. Very great talk. It was a lot of fun having him on last night. Let's see here. Let's go to the chat room. What you got for me today? Looking for those questions. The Tech Wizard, Doom Kraken says the Tech Wizard. Should I go hoodie the whole time, everyone? Just let me know and check. I'll put the hoodie up if you want. That'll be kind of fun. Smile. Let's see. Okay, looking for the questions. This is funny. A little cool. I can't wait to get out of Minnesota and into that Florida cool in a few weeks. It's like an icebox in my studio this morning. I'm like, oh, the heater must go on, must get warmth. You know, when you're used to disgusting humidity and heat most of the year, when Florida goes, yoink, haha, enjoy the cold, you're like, oh, my body's not ready for that. We didn't ease into this. It literally went from like 87 degrees to 30 like overnight. You know, that's kind of how it went. So very, very fun. Your body does not get a chance to acclimate. Here's one from Carrie. He says, what do you call a pudding that tells jokes? A custodian of comedy. Ba-doom, psh. Nice. Ted Grant says the Darth Daniel Lowry memes are in the works. Hold my monster. That sounds wrong the way you said that. I mean, but we all get it that are in the Cybercast community. Everybody gets that. Cobra says he missed the show last night. That's okay. You can go rewatch it. It's recorded. Oh, okay. Let's go. Looking for those questions. Looking for something cool. Everybody's just talking about me being Darth Daniel. Anita Sailor's black sites in China. Oh yeah, I guess they're called dark sites. I looked it up again. Dark sites. They're completely autonomous sites for manufacturing, shipping, or like everything is done by robots. There's no need for lights, so they don't have them because robots don't need to see. They just do the thing, right? I guess the lights probably are there in case a human needs to go in for whatever reason to fix something, or whatever reason. But yeah, they have those. I want to say it was like 500 something of them. Yeah, there you go. This one comes from Keith Sloan. Will I be attending John Strand's webinar today? I will not be there, but what are my thoughts on the current state of China as a state actor? They're busy. They've been busy. I mean, back even when I was on TechNado, back in the day with IT Pro TV, they were constantly in the news about them doing some shifty-eyed bullish. It's like, come on, guys, can we just settle the heck down? Y'all just run your country and do things for you. Like, to me, it's like, please, I don't want to get into a government conversation, or politics, but goodness gracious, stop hacking people. Oh my word. Let's just all calm down. Y'all do you, we'll do us. But that's not how it's gonna work. That's just never how it works. Stinking people. Can we just chill? You mean my friend? I always bring up my friend Justin because we had a lot of really great conversation, and we'd be like, "Why is this doing this? Why is that?" And I was like, "You know what the problem is? People got involved and messed it all up because they do that. I don't know why we do that, but we do. We really enjoy really messing things up from time to time." Kenneth J says it was 60 here in Florida this morning. It was 60. Actually, it was cooler where I'm at. I think it got down in the 50s, maybe even the 40s last night. But my studio is literally the opposite of what I would want as far as the heat and cool. In the summertime, it is the hottest. It is a sauna. It cooks, but in the winter, I could hang meat in the thing. Now, I've got an air conditioner for the summertime. I've yet to come up with a really good heating solution quite yet. So yeah, there's that. Let's see here. Questions. Looking for the questions. I got some jokes. What's made of brass and sounds like Tom Jones? Trombones. That is funny. That is a really good one, Roswell. Way to go. Nice. Okay. We're all just talking Star Wars at this time. Where's my sword? I actually own a few swords, DreamLogic. To my son's wondrousness, he loves that I have swords because he just thinks that's the coolest thing. When I was his age, I did too. And now they just kind of sit on a shelf doing nothing. But I do have swords. One of them is over there. I'm not going to get up and get it, though. Let's see here. This comes from Mechanus. Okay, that's a fun name. Thank you for making me say that. Is it important to encrypt communication between database servers and clients if we assume the database servers are in a secure area and clients are internal, not external? My default is encrypt. There's no good reason not to encrypt anymore. Our bandwidth and everything can handle it. So just encrypt everything. It's not about I think that's probably one of the big mistakes we make when it comes to security is we assume that it's secure. Even if we're putting encryption on, are you using good encryption? Because there's many types of encryption that are still usable today that could get cracked fairly quickly, right? So it's not just that when we make the assumptions that things will be secure, and even if they are at that moment in time, everything changes. What was it, Heraclides, that said you never step in the same river twice? I'm probably getting the wrong Greek philosopher there, but it's constantly moving. It is an ever-changing environments. One little stone in the pond that ripples out and things get weird, right? So we can never assume that something is safe. We must always be diligent. That's why the idea of zero trust became so popular, was because even when we were trusting and verifying, we verified a lot of things weren't being able to be trusted. So, yeah, I would say that, yes, I would encrypt the communication between database servers and clients, because why not? Are we running on 1995 Ethernet standards where you don't really have, even then that should be fine, right? Are we on 10 megabit, 1 megabit? Is it dial up that we're sending things over? Is it on old 3G? Because I don't think that's the world we live in anymore. So why not? Throw them some encryption. Never assume that things are safe. Always test the fence and see that what you think should be happening is actually happening. And then that's why we call it a life cycle, right? Like, we design, we implement, we then test, verify, and then find out what's not working, and then we design, we implement, we test, we continue that kind of cycle, right? And that's why, because things end up changing, technology creeps out of scope, and you go, what is all this tech creep? We've got people doing things like shadow IT. You never know, they might get, you know what I mean? There's always some weird thing. You go, what is that? And they go, what? You go, that. What the hell is that right there? And you go, oh yeah, I brought that in from home. You're like, no. Crazy people. What is wrong with y'all? Like I said, there's that people get involved and we start doing fun stuff, right? Here's a fun one. When your CEO goes, I know what our security policy is, but I don't like it. So for me, I'm going to take an exemption. And since I write the checks, since I'm scratching the numbers out on the paper that gets you paid, you're going to do what I told you to do. And that's how it works. And you go, cool. Just please, while you're scratching your name on a check, sign this form that says that you are not going to abide by that you are basically disregarding many hours and thoughtful work on the security of your business, that you think that that's done because it's inconvenient. So just put your name on that right there and sign a date. That'd be great. So that when things go wrong, this guy ain't the one holding the bag, taking the heat. My goodness. Good question, though. All right, let's see here. Looking for the questions. Someone's asking. That's Tech Grunt. I'm warming up for TechNet news. Let's go. That'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow we got some TechNet news coming in hot. You see it started to bubble up out of me. I was like, oh yeah, here it comes. Here comes that TechNet. They're going to get crazy. That's going to be fun, though. I'm going to find me a good article to TechNet out on. Here's one from Keith Sloan. Are my eyes deceiving with the blur, or is that a really cool Pac-Man art behind you? Your eyes do not deceive you, sir. That is the Packish of the man. He's an interesting character. Those ghosts, they give him all sorts of hell, don't they? But then he eats a big dot and they run for their lives. but they're dead already. So, because they are ghosts technically. Huh. We just went down the philosophical rabbit hole and existential crisis. That is Pac-Man. Fun question. But no, yeah, that's my kids got me for that for like Father's Day or something. I think it was Father's Day to put in my studio, and I love it. Every last second of it. Okay, moving on, moving on. How much time we got? We're about halfway through the show, and then you got to go to the Cybersecurity Mentors podcast. That's going to be awesome. Got to get the advice from them on jobs and things of that nature. Great stuff. Kimberly can fix it. Can you share more about your course on Simply Cyber Academy and drop the link for everyone? Okay, yes, I can do that. Let me go grab that while we talk about it. It is a Pen Test Plus course, and the great thing about this course is, for those of you that have taken training before, training can be a bit, how can I put this? How can I put this? Boring, right? Training can be a lot of not fun. I find myself in many training environments where I'm like, okay, I gotta reread this sentence for the 5th time, because do we need a 17-line sentence? Is that really necessary? And of course, it doesn't help that all the crap, technology we have to learn is very complex, right? So when you string a bunch of words together that are tech or pen testing or security related, it can get a little difficult to stay following along with the sheet music, if you know what I mean. All right, I just dropped the link to the Pen Test Plus course at theacademy.simplycyber.io. You can go check that out there. Thank you, Kim, for bringing that up. But so what I try to do when I make training is make it fun. I try to make it engaging. There's no wall of text. There's no just let's sit on a PowerPoint slide. I can basically read you the book. Like, hello, if I wanted to read a book, I would go to Audible, right? I guess if I wanted to have a book read to me. If I wanted to read a book, I'll go to Amazon and I'll buy the book and I will read said book. Still a really good idea, by the way, at least in my experience, to have multiple forms, right? To where you can kind of go, one is a kind of a reference, the other one is the engaging person, where I'm like, hey, let's hack and show you how to do, I don't know, session token hijacking. Let's do that. That'll be fun. And I show you how to do that. And it's not, so here's what a session is. Here is a token. Here's how here's a slide of what hijacking looks like. It's like, nah, dog. Let's just get into a web app that has that vulnerability and set up all the moving parts and do it. So that's what I do. That's how I train. It's always like, hey, this is going to be fun because I'm very visually oriented. I like seeing how it's done. It kind of makes more sense, even though there's always still things that, because it's really easy for someone to assume like, oh, I forgot to tell you the details behind that. So I try to do my level best to always be explaining everything and leave no assumption, right? Assumptions is where we really get ourselves in trouble. So yeah, there you go. There's that. Hope you enjoy that. If you like it, go check it out. Get yourself some trained up. You can get the certification. It is a study guide basically for the PT0003 Pentest Plus exam that is currently available from CompTIA. I try to cover, I think I covered most, if not all, of the objectives. I might have left one or two out just because they were like, eh. But yeah, that's what we do. And always trying to deep dive into those things so that you really understand them and have fun doing it. That's what it's all about. Thank you, Kimberly Can Fix It, for bringing that up. I appreciate you helping me shout myself out because I am not good at that. This one comes from Random X Skills. Currently, what is your favorite pen testing tool or vulnerability scanner? Depends on what you're doing, right? Right now, I'm really into just C2s. It's more not so much a vulnerability scanning tool, but more on the other end after the post-compromise happened, like what's the most fun C2 that you can use? So I'm constantly looking at C2s and going, ooh, that's cool. I like how that works. And I have found use cases, unless you're running something pay for like Cobalt Strike or Brute Retel or something, which is going to cost you a little bit of the do-re-mi, if you know what I'm talking about. A little bit of the skeech, as it were, the scratch, the moolah, Anyway, moving on. But when it comes to favorite pen testing tool, I mean, Nuclei is a really good one just because of the templates you can build. You can build custom templates, you can get community templates. It's a really good scanner. I tend to stick with GoBuster, but I've really enjoyed Ferox Buster as well for directory fuzzing. What else is another really useful tool that I tend to go to? WP Scan's a good one because there's a lot of WordPress sites out there. You'll notice I'm leaning heavily into the paint on web app pen testing. Python is a great tool for testing, right? Because you can build things. Yeah, I mean, there's ton. It just really depends on what kind of test you're doing. Obviously, like NetExec is going to be a great tool for, and Bloodhound for doing Active Directory stuff. Just depends. Just going to depend on the old tool. Nmap. I mean, the OG, right? It has built-in vulnerability test or vulnerability scanning scripts. If you're going straight vulnerability scanner, I mean, Tenable in Nessus has it's got quite the pedigree. It's been around for a hot minute. Does a really good job. It's probably the gold standard. There's others, Qualys and so on and so forth. But even OpenVAS will give you a good experience nowadays. It's definitely raising its game all the time. Every year when I look at it, it's a little bit better than it was last year. So good on them. And if you need some hands-on experience with something, you can get Nessus a download trial for I think 7 days or so. Mess around with it, and that's a good idea. Now, what I like to do is get it downloaded onto a VM, take a snapshot, and then install, run my scans, and then you can revert the snapshot and reinstall and get more 7 days. And not that, I mean, I've heard that people do that. That's what I meant to say. I've heard that happens, and you shouldn't. That's not cool, man. That's not how we roll. We've got 8 minutes to go. Continuing on. So hopefully that helps you out there. Moving on. Fun fact, Darth Lowry commands the darknet from the shadows. Daniel Lowry commands the entire network stack from the light. I am both the dark and light side of the force. That's an interesting place to live. Thanks, Tech Grunt. Here's a question about my Pentest Plus course from Anita Sailors. On your Pentest Plus course on Simply Cyber Academy, may I retake the final test? And if so, how many times? I'm on section 2 and realized I know a bit more than I thought, but what if I don't? I don't know what you mean. I didn't create any exams for it, so I don't know what you mean by that. If they're there, then I didn't do it. You'd have to ask Jerry that one. So sorry. I just created the content and the episode notes that go with each episode. Let's see, what do we got here? Straw Hat Sec. Daniel Lowry, how many years a person is Script Kiddie, and when do they rank up into what? Gotcha. So we all definitely start off as a Script Kiddie, and this is a very subjective. There's no correct answer to this. There's just answers to this. And when you start to find yourself that you know what your tools are doing, right? You know why you're using said tool, or if you download a script off of like Vulners or ExploitDB, and you look at that script and you understand what's happening, and if it doesn't work for you in your environment, you kind of know why that is, and you start looking at the code for that script and you make the necessary changes so that it will work in the environment that you're firing it off in. I would say that you have graduated out of Script Kiddie at that point, right? You're still, I don't know when you become an elite hacker necessarily. I guess when you're writing your own 0 days or whatever, if you can do that, if you can write your own proof of concept exploit code, maybe that is a great litmus test for whether or not you've graduated. But we all tend to lean on each other's work. So, I mean, to me, you're a total skid if you don't know what's going on. You just downloaded a script. You have no idea what it does other than it hacks things. And you have very little understanding of where that even applies. So you're just kind of shotgunning this thing against anything and everything and hoping to get a shell to pop back. And you don't know why that shell is there, but yay, magic shell showed up. I hacky things. Don't get me wrong. Again, we all kind of start there, but it's those that just kind of stick there and stay there. They feel like it's effective, and I feel like I'm hacking things. I can't imagine most people would want to stay in that environment. I get the reason why we start there, but yeah, I mean, interesting question though, Straw Hat Sec. Very interesting question. So I think it's different for everybody. Once you've decided that, hey, I actually want to know what the heck is going on. I want to understand why that's a vulnerability and why this script works and what could I have just written my own? Yes, it is easier because if I'm in the middle of doing something, maybe I'm doing a CTF and I just want to get initial access and I'm looking at a CVE and I'm hitting the internets for, is there a POC for this? And maybe that brings up a really good point. We should spend a little more time instead of trying to gain points and getting the blank percent on try hack me. Then maybe we should spend a little more time writing our own POCs and going, okay, well, I'm going to learn what this CVE and I'm going to level up in skill and take that as an opportunity to do so, as I'm going to write my own exploit for this. That could be a great way to go. Got me fired up. That's for sure. Thank you. Where's that at? Okay, moving on. How much time we have? We got 4 minutes. Then you got to go to the Cyber Mentors podcast. Looking for questions. Come on, questions. Where are we at? I'm never like close enough to. Here we go. Are you the great Jedi of hacking? Taekwondo God. I so wish I was. Here's a question from Alicia Grimm. Oh, it's going to be good. How do you manage learning all the things at once? I don't. Say like pen testing, but then Python can be useful and the tools. Do you focus on one at a time or you space out for each thing? I mean, I tend to follow the organic learning path. I will legit go into something. I have to learn this today. I really need to get understanding behind X, Y, or Z. But a lot of times that takes you in a very roundabout way. And if you're really wanting to understand these things, you got to follow those paths. But you always have to make sure that you stay grounded in the thing that you're trying to learn. So if I'm trying to learn, I'll tell you, I'm trying to learn more about red team stuff, right? So I still have to do other things and I still have to learn other things, AI, learn so on and so forth. So I have to try to round everything back to what I'm learning in that red team thing. And if I am specifically sitting down and going, this is my time to learn red team stuff, whatever path it sends me out on, I'm just going to keep an anchor here on this red team course. If I'm learning about DLL hijacking, cool. Wherever it sends me, if I get into Python, I start to build things, I'm starting to make stuff. Or if I'm getting into, C#, C++, or whatever the case is to actually do these stuff, or I feel like I need to build my own home lab on this, cool. It's with the purpose of I'm doing this. I'm just moving over here right now to make this happen so that I can do that. If that makes sense. Hopefully that does. Great question, Alicia. Always fire. Dream Logic Inc. We've got not a cyber question and not a technical one, but I'm interested to know, what is your favorite flowers? Tulips. I like tulips. Cool. Let's see here. Moving on. Saki I-24. Looking ahead, what's the outlook on the job market in the OT ICF security over the next 5 to 10 years? According to Mike Holcomb, he said it's looking pretty good because they're kind of the end of the backside of the accordion as it pulls up to the station here when it comes to cyber. He said a lot of organizations don't have the funding, they don't have the resources, the things that they have needed, or even the thought that, hey, cyber should be a thing. We should be securing things. And now that's something that's starting to make its way around. So it could be a really good time to get in on the ground floor before the job market really opens up there. Okay, we've got one more question, then we're going to call it a day. And you guys can go to the Cyber Mentors podcast. The Rich 464 says, what are your thoughts on pixanapping? You know, I saw it in the news. I haven't really taken the time to dive into it quite yet, so I hate that that's our last question. But yeah, I need to learn more, and then I'll be able to give you. So join me on Cybercast IRL on Friday, and maybe we can discuss that. That could be a lot of fun. But thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I appreciate your questions, your comments, lots of fun stuff, but it's time to call it a day. With that, I bid you a fond adieu and head over to the Cybersecurity Mentors podcast. We'll see you next time, everyone. Have a great day and stay secure.